Every zipper on Earth has a tiny wedge hidden inside the slider, and it's doing something you've never once thought about. Splitting and mating hundreds of teeth in perfect order, dozens per second. And the number one thing on this list? A device in your pocket that tells time by making a crystal physically vibrate 32,768 times every second. Stick around, because these 10 are going to change how you look at ordinary objects. Start with the zipper, because almost nobody knows how it works. Inside that little slider is a Y-shaped channel. When you pull down, 2 rows of teeth come in from the top and the wedge splits them apart. Pull up and they funnel into the single channel where a precise cam forces each tooth to hook under the gap in the one opposite. The teeth aren't identical either. They're shaped so the head of one locks into the hollow of the next. That's why a stuck zipper usually means one tooth is bent a fraction of a millimeter. Beautifully simple. And speaking of hidden geometry, look at your microwave. Here's what threw me about microwaves. They don't heat from the inside out, and they don't heat evenly at all. A magnetron fires microwaves at exactly 245 GHz, and those waves bounce around the metal box forming standing waves, fixed hot spots and cold spots in the air. That's literally why there's a turntable, to drag your food through the hot zones. The waves flip the polarity of water molecules nearly 5 billion times a second, and the friction of them twisting is the heat. No water, no heating, that's why a dry ceramic plate stays cold. Now, something that flips even faster is inside your watch. A quartz watch keeps time because of a tiny fork-shaped sliver of quartz crystal, smaller than a grain of rice. Apply voltage and quartz physically bends, that's the piezoelectric effect. Cut it to precise dimensions and it vibrates at exactly 32,768 times per second, every single second. Why that ugly number? Because it's 2 to the power 15. The circuit halves it 15 times and lands on exactly 1 clean pulse per second to tick the hands. That's the whole trick. No gears keeping time, just a shivering crystal and some division. It's why a £5 watch beats a mechanical one costing thousands. Next, how your car knows it's you. You'd think a car key fob just sends a password, but if it did, anyone with a cheap receiver could record it and replay it. So instead, every fob and every car share a synchronized algorithm, a rolling code. Press the button, it sends a number. Then both sides calculate the next number in the sequence. The code you just used is dead forever. Press it a few times out of range and the car has a window of the next few hundred codes it'll still accept. So you don't lock yourself out. It's genuinely clever self-out. It's genuinely clever security hiding in a plastic clicker. But the coolest hidden mechanism might be in your thermostat. Old dial thermostats have no electronics at all. The whole thing runs on a strip of 2 metals glued together. Brass and steel expand at different rates when heated, so the strip curls as the room warms. Coil that strip into a spiral, and the curling becomes rotation. Mount a little glass vial of mercury on top, and when the coil tips past your set point, the mercury rolls, bridges 2 contacts, and switches the heating off. That's it, a bending sandwich of metal deciding whether your house is warm. No sensors, no chips, and they'd run for decades. Now let's talk about something that grips without teeth. A keyless drill chuck grips a bit hard enough to drill steel, using nothing but your hand twist in a plastic collar. Inside are 3 hardened jaws riding on angled threads. Turn the sleeve and all 3 slide inward together along a cone, closing evenly on the bit. But here's the clever part. The harder the drill twists under load, the more the jaws try to climb their ramps and bite tighter. The cutting torque self-tightens the grip. That's why they hold so well without a key. Undersize the bit though, and the jaws can't align. You get a wobble. Elegant. You get a wobble. Elegant. Next up, the trick inside every ballpoint pen. The ballpoint pen solved a problem fountain pens never could. A tiny ball, usually 1 millimeter of tungsten carbide, sits in a socket with a gap of just a few microns. Ink flows down by gravity and clings to the ball. As you drag it across paper, the ball rotates and it works like a roller inking a press, picking up ink on the inside and laying it on the page. The tolerance is so tight the ball can't fall out but spins freely. That precision is why early ones leaked constantly until manufacturing caught up in the 1940s. Something even smaller is hiding in your phone speaker. The speaker in your phone is astonishingly simple and astonishingly abused. A coil of wire sits in a permanent magnet's field. Send an audio signal, an alternating current, through that coil, and it becomes an electromagnet flipping polarity thousands of times a second, shoved back and forth by the fixed magnet. The coil's glued to a thin cone, so it pushes air, and that's sound. What gets me is the range. To play a deep bass note and a high cymbal at once, that cone has to trace both waveforms simultaneously, moving in a pattern more complex than anything you could draw, all from one wiggling coil. Now, the ratchet you use blind. A ratchet wrench lets you turn a bolt without lifting the tool off, and the whole thing hinges on a part the size of a lentil. Inside is a toothed gear and a spring-loaded pawl, a little wedge that drops into the teeth. Turn one way, the pawl locks and drives the bolt. Turn back, the angled teeth just push the pawl up and it clicks over them. That's the sound. A cheap ratchet has maybe 30 teeth, so a big swing to catch the next tooth. A good one has 90, meaning you only need to move 4 degrees to re-engage. That tiny angle is the difference between working in a tight engine